I want you to stop for a moment and think about every ounce of energy you've ever given to people who didn't deserve it, who never appreciated it, who never even tried to stand on their own 2 feet. Think about the late nights you spent fixing problems that weren't yours, the calls you answered when your own dreams were waiting, the advice you gave to people who never acted on it. That energy you gave away, that time you sacrificed, that focus you lost, where did it really go? Who benefited the most? Was it them or was it you? Bleeding out your own potential to save someone else from doing what they were, too weak, too lazy, or too afraid to do themselves. Now I want you to feel that weight, because that weight is real and it's been holding you back. That weight is the reason your goals are further away than they need to be. The reason your grind hasn't yet reached the level it deserves. The reason your purpose is getting diluted every single day. Here's the truth, and it's a truth most people won't tell you. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your wisdom. Some people are too comfortable in their weakness. Some people are addicted to excuses, addicted to blame, addicted to other people cleaning up their mess. And when you keep bending over backwards for them, when you keep sacrificing your mission for their convenience, you are not helping them. You are keeping them small, and you are keeping yourself small too. The moment you realize that your energy is sacred, the moment you realize that your focus is non-negotiable, the moment you understand that your purpose is more important than someone else's comfort, that is the moment everything changes. That is the moment you begin to step into the version of yourself that refuses to be drained, that refuses to be slowed, that refuses to compromise for people unwilling to fight for themselves. Imagine what could happen if you stopped giving so much of yourself to the wrong people. Imagine if every hour, every ounce of energy, every bit of focus went into your mission, into your growth, into your rise. Imagine the level of power, the clarity, the discipline you could achieve if you stopped rescuing those unwilling to rise. It's not selfish. It's necessary. It's what separates the weak from the strong. The people who rise, the people who achieve, the people who dominate in life, they don't let others' weaknesses dictate their pace. They don't let dependency steal their energy. They don't let distraction delay their destiny. They focus on themselves, they focus on their mission, and they focus on the people who are willing to grow with them, not cling to them. So I want you to understand something right now. This video, this moment, this message is not about being cruel. It's about being strategic. It's about protecting your energy. It's about understanding that your life, your mission, your purpose, these are sacred, and you cannot allow them to be diluted by those unwilling to fight for their own. Today, right now, you are going to see the difference between enabling weakness and empowering growth. You are going to see why stepping back, why creating boundaries, why choosing yourself first is the most powerful move you will ever make. This is your moment to understand that the strongest thing you can do is sometimes the hardest thing. Stop helping those who refuse to help themselves and start building the life you were born to live. Every day of your life, whether you realize it or not, you are faced with choices that define who you are and who you will become. The first keynote, weakness is a choice, strength is a decision, is not just a motivational cliche. It is a brutal truth that too many people avoid confronting. Most people walk through life blaming circumstances, waiting for luck, or hoping for someone to hand them success on a silver platter. And in doing so, they surrender their power. They convince themselves that weakness is something they were born with, something unavoidable, a condition of their existence. But strength is never accidental. It is never inherited. Strength is a decision you make, moment by moment, hour by hour, and day by day. It is the result of choices, not chance. Every time you choose comfort over growth, excuses over action, or fear over courage, you are choosing weakness. Every time you make the conscious effort to push past limits, to act in spite of fear, and to pursue your potential relentlessly, you are choosing strength. This decision, this deliberate act of choosing who you will be, defines the trajectory of your life. The first step in understanding this keynote is to confront the illusion that weakness is something external. Weakness is not a result of your job, your environment, your education, or even your upbringing. Weakness exists in the choices you make. When you wake up in the morning, you face two options: Stay in the comfort of your bed or rise and pursue your goals despite the difficulty that awaits. When faced with a challenging project, you can procrastinate, complain, or quit, or you can attack it with relentless focus and determination. Each choice is a declaration of either weakness or strength. This is not about physical ability alone, although that is part of it. It is about mental fortitude, emotional resilience, and the courage to make hard decisions even when you do not feel like it. Strength is an active, conscious commitment to excellence and growth. To choose strength is to reject excuses and embrace accountability. Excuses are the language of weakness. They are the comfort zone wrapped in a story we tell ourselves to justify inaction. I can't because of this, or it's not my fault, are phrases that weaken the mind and paralyze potential. The moment you stop blaming the world, the moment you take responsibility for your own life, you reclaim power. Strength begins when you stop waiting for conditions to be perfect and start acting with what you have, where you are, and with whoever is in your path. It is not a passive state, but an active pursuit. Choosing strength means refusing to let fear dictate your actions. It means refusing to allow doubt to plant seeds of hesitation. It means standing up again and again when the world wants to push you down. Strength is also about consistency. One moment of courage does not make a person strong. One act of discipline does not create an unshakable mindset. Strength is built through repetition, through showing up, even when the results are not immediate, through making the right choice again and again, even when it is difficult. Weakness, on the other hand, is cultivated in the same way. Each time you choose to avoid a challenge, give in to fear, or remain in comfort, you are training yourself to be weak. Your habits, your daily decisions, your routine actions build the structure of your character. Choosing strength means constructing that structure deliberately. Every choice you make is a brick. Every decision to push forward, to endure, to fight is a brick that strengthens the foundation of who you are becoming. Weakness is built brick by brick in exactly the same way, but through avoidance, procrastination, and surrender. Another critical aspect of this keynote is understanding that strength is not permanent. It is not a title that once earned stays with you for life. Strength must be renewed daily through conscious decisions. Life is filled with moments designed to test you, to tempt you into weakness, to seduce you, comfort, and to distract you from your goals. Each challenge is an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to strength. Each setback, each failure, each pain-filled moment is a call to decide once again whether you will succumb to weakness or rise to strength. The world does not reward intention alone. It rewards action, persistence, and courage. Choosing strength means choosing to act in spite of fear, to endure in spite of hardship, and to persist in spite of setbacks. Choosing strength also requires a mental shift. You must see yourself not as a product of circumstances, but as the architect of your destiny. Weakness is believing that life happens to you. Strength is understanding that life happens through you and because of you. You must internalize the belief that you control your effort, your attitude, and your responses. This mindset does not eliminate struggle, pain, or failure, but it transforms your relationship with them. You see obstacles as opportunities, pain as a tool for growth, and failure as a stepping stone to mastery. Weakness sees obstacles as insurmountable barriers. Strength sees them as invitations to prove your resilience. Finally, strength is a decision that affects every area of your life. It impacts your health, your relationships, your career, your financial situation, and your emotional well-being. Weakness manifests as laziness, dependence, fear, and regret. Strength manifests as courage, independence, perseverance, and fulfillment. Choosing strength is choosing to live intentionally, to set high standards for yourself, and to reject mediocrity. It is deciding every single day that you will not settle for being average, that you will not let circumstances dictate your destiny, and that you will pursue your potential with relentless determination. Weakness is a choice, but strength is a decision, and that decision will define the of your life. The second keynote, discipline over desire, is a principle that separates those who achieve greatness from those who drift through life waiting for motivation to appear. Most people live their lives reacting to how they feel in the moment. They wake up some mornings inspired and ready to act, and other mornings they succumb to fatigue, distraction, or the temptation of comfort. This approach is unreliable because desire is fleeting and unpredictable. Motivation is volatile, fragile, and inconsistent. There will never be a day when you wake up feeling 100% ready to do what is required to reach your goals. That is why the key to lasting success, true personal growth, and unshakable achievement lies in discipline. Discipline is a choice to act consistently, even when you do not feel like it. It is the unwavering commitment to your purpose and goals, regardless of your mood, energy, or comfort. While desire is the spark, discipline is the engine that keeps you moving forward, mile after mile, even when the fire in your chest dims. Discipline is about creating a framework for your life that does not rely on temporary feelings. Desire is unreliable because it depends on emotions, which are subject to change. Some days you will feel inspired, other days you will feel tired, defeated, or unmotivated. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your reality. It is the structure that turns dreams into achievements. When you choose discipline over desire, you no longer wait for a surge of motivation to move you into action. Instead, you create habits, routines, and systems that compel you to act, even when your feelings are opposed to your objectives. The person who is disciplined shows up, trains, works, studies, or hustles, not because they want to in that moment, but because they have committed themselves to a standard higher than temporary comfort or emotion. This principle requires a brutal honesty about your current behavior. Most people confuse desire with discipline, thinking that wanting something intensely is enough to make it happen. Desire alone is passive. It generates no results. You may want wealth, health, power, or respect, but without discipline, these desires remain fantasies. The disciplined individual, however, converts desire into actionable steps and commits to executing them consistently. Discipline demands showing up when it is inconvenient, finishing what you started when you feel like quitting, and maintaining standards that challenge the limits of your comfort. Desire may tempt you to act when it is easy or exciting, but discipline drives you to persist when it is hard, boring, or painful. That is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary outcomes. Discipline is not about harsh self-punishment. It is about training your mind and body to obey higher standards. It is the ability to delay gratification in pursuit of long-term success. The world is filled with distractions, temptations, and opportunities to take the easy route. Discipline is the mental and emotional fortitude to ignore these shortcuts and remain committed to the path that leads to growth. It is waking up early to work when others sleep, choosing to study when others play, practicing when no one is watching, and making decisions that serve your long-term purpose rather than your immediate comfort. Desire may give you bursts of energy, but discipline ensures a steady, unstoppable progression toward mastery and achievement. A disciplined life also requires sacrifice and prioritization. You cannot remain enslaved to fleeting wants and expect to achieve greatness. Every choice you make either strengthens or weakens your discipline. When you succumb to procrastination, distractions, or the temptation to avoid discomfort, you train yourself to be weak and inconsistent. When you choose discipline, you reinforce the mental pathways that enable resilience, self-control, and tenacity. This is how champions are made, how leaders are forged, and how individuals rise above mediocrity. Discipline is the unglamorous, repetitive, and often lonely work that produces results far beyond what desire alone can accomplish. Moreover, discipline builds confidence and self-respect. When you act consistently according to your standards, even when it is uncomfortable, you prove to yourself that you are capable of controlling your actions and mastering your environment. This confidence compounds over time, creating momentum that drives you toward increasingly ambitious goals. Desire may come and go, but discipline becomes a permanent internal engine capable of propelling you forward through challenges, failures, and setbacks. It is the backbone of personal growth, the invisible force behind all meaningful achievement, and the defining trait of those who separate themselves from the masses. Discipline over desire also cultivates resilience. Life is unpredictable, filled with obstacles, setbacks, and adversity. When you rely solely on desire, your path becomes erratic and fragile. Discipline, however, trains you to persist regardless of circumstances. It instills a mindset that prioritizes action over emotion, effort over comfort, and results over excuses. The disciplined person does not wait to feel motivated. They act with purpose, knowing that mastery and success are built through repetition, consistency, and commitment. Ultimately, the second keynote teaches that your life will only reflect the standards you impose on yourself. Desire alone will never sustain you. Discipline will. Discipline transforms intentions into results, dreams into reality, and potential into accomplishment. Choosing discipline over desire is a daily battle, a conscious decision to rise above temporary feelings and act in alignment with your highest purpose. It is the foundation for building strength, resilience, and unshakable success. The person who masters discipline, even when desire is absent, will always win in the long run because their actions are not dependent on emotion, but on unwavering commitment to excellence. The third keynote, embrace discomfort to grow, is a principle that underpins every story of success, every tale of achievement, and every account of someone breaking free from mediocrity. Growth does not occur in comfort zones. It is forged in the fires of challenge, adversity, and discomfort. Most people avoid pain, struggle, and difficulty at all costs. They seek convenience, ease, and the reassurance of safety, believing that life should be manageable and pleasant. But the truth is that comfort is a trap, a silent thief of potential, and a barrier to greatness. If you want to rise above the average, if you want to stand out, you must embrace the uncomfortable, the demanding, the challenging, and the moments that test your limits. Discomfort is the crucible in which resilience, strength, and character are forged. Without it, your potential will remain dormant, and your life will reflect only what was easy to achieve rather than what was truly worth achieving. Discomfort comes in many forms: mental strain, physical exhaustion, social pressure, failure, rejection, criticism, and uncertainty. These experiences trigger growth because they force you to adapt, overcome, and evolve. When you step into discomfort, you stretch the boundaries of what you believe is possible for yourself. You learn to endure, to persevere, and to confront fears that others avoid. Growth is not passive. It is a deliberate pursuit that requires stepping outside the familiar and into the territory that challenges your mind, body, and spirit. Every great achiever understands that lasting progress is inseparable from deliberate struggle. Avoiding discomfort may bring temporary peace, but it guarantees long-term stagnation. Embracing discomfort is a conscious choice to prioritize your future over present comfort, to value mastery over ease, and to understand that the path to excellence is rarely smooth or convenient. To embrace discomfort, you must first recognize its necessity. Discomfort is not a punishment or a sign of failure. It is a signal that you are stretching, evolving, and moving beyond your current limitations. When life becomes difficult, or when challenges arise, instead of retreating, you must lean into the experience. Each challenge, each painful experience is an opportunity to build mental toughness, emotional resilience, and skill mastery. People avoid discomfort because it is unpleasant, but those who understand its value see it as a teacher, a guide, and a catalyst for transformation. Every moment of struggle carries a hidden lesson, a chance to improve, and an opportunity to separate yourself from those unwilling to pay the price. This keynote also teaches that embracing discomfort requires courage. It demands the ability to face fear, uncertainty, and adversity head on. Fear is a natural response to the unknown and to risk, but those who allow fear to dictate their actions remain trapped in mediocrity. Embracing discomfort means acting in spite of fear, choosing to persist when doubt surfaces, and finding strength in moments that would have caused others to retreat. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of action in the presence of fear. By confronting challenges rather than avoiding them, you cultivate a mindset that thrives under pressure and refuses to be intimidated by obstacles. The more you embrace discomfort, the more capable and confident you become, and the more unstoppable your momentum grows. Discomfort also serves as a refining force, separating those who are committed from those who are casual, those who are serious from those who are spectators. It is the ultimate filter because it reveals who is willing to endure the struggle necessary to achieve greatness. Many people talk about dreams, ambitions, and goals, but very few are willing to endure the discomfort required to realize them. Growth is not for the passive, it is for the brave, the disciplined, and the relentless. By embracing discomfort, you align yourself with the reality that excellence is earned, not given, and that the journey to mastery is marked by effort, sacrifice, and endurance. Moreover, embracing discomfort strengthens your resilience against future challenges. Life is unpredictable, filled with setbacks, failures, and pain. Those who have learned to embrace discomfort in small, deliberate ways are better equipped to face the larger storms of life. Each challenge you voluntarily take on, each uncomfortable task you complete, is training for the inevitable adversities that will appear without warning. Your mind becomes sharper, your patience deeper, and your resolve unshakable. Discomfort becomes familiar, and in that familiarity, you find power, confidence, and freedom. You are no longer controlled by avoidance or fear because you have practiced persistence, endurance, and adaptation. Finally, embracing discomfort is the gateway to excellence. It is the secret weapon of those who rise above mediocrity and achieve extraordinary results. Every skill, every talent, and every opportunity worth having requires effort, risk, and endurance. The road to achievement is paved with challenges, resistance, and relentless trials. Those who refuse discomfort remain average because they settle for what is EA. Those who embrace it, however, discover growth, mastery, and a level of accomplishment that defies conventional limits. To embrace discomfort is to choose the path of the strong, the persistent, and the extraordinary. It is a commitment to yourself, a promise to endure the pain, to persist through struggle, and to rise higher than those unwilling to pay the price. The fourth keynote, discipline outlasts motivation, is the cornerstone of true achievement. The invisible force that separates those who succeed from those who merely wish they could. Motivation is fleeting, unpredictable, and dependent on external or internal emotional states. It surges when you feel inspired, excited, or optimistic, but it fades when life becomes difficult, when energy is low, or when circumstances are less than ideal. Relying solely on motivation is a recipe for inconsistency because it ties your progress to something outside your control. Discipline, on the other hand, is a choice, a commitment, and a structure that you impose upon yourself, regardless of how you feel. It does not ask for permission from your emotions. It does not wait for perfect timing, and it does not depend on fleeting enthusiasm. Discipline is what ensures that you continue to show up, execute, and push forward, even when motivation has vanished. Understanding the power of discipline starts with recognizing that consistency, not occasional bursts of effort, determines long-term results. Motivation may get you started, but it is discipline that keeps you moving when obstacles arise, when fatigue sets in, and when the excitement of a new endeavor has worn off. Many people start with great intentions, fueled by inspiration, but they fail to sustain because they rely on motivation alone. They wake up energized for a few days or weeks, make progress, but as soon as life's difficulties appear, they fall back into old habits. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be, independent of circumstance, emotion, or external validation. It is the daily repetition, the adherence to standards, and the commitment to action that builds results that are undeniable and lasting. Discipline is also about control over your thoughts, actions, and environment. It is the ability to make decisions based on long-term vision rather than short-term pleasure. Life constantly tempts you with ease, distraction, and comfort, but discipline is the act of choosing what serves your growth and purpose over what provides temporary satisfaction. It is waking up early even when you don't feel like it, practicing relentlessly when no one is watching, and prioritizing effort over entertainment. Discipline transforms abstract dreams into tangible outcomes because it replaces hope and wishfulness with structure, responsibility, and accountability. Every successful person knows that discipline is not glamorous, but it is essential, and it accumulates over time in ways that motivation never can. Another critical aspect of discipline is that it develops self-respect and internal authority. When you consistently do what you are supposed to do, even in the absence of motivation, you build trust in yourself. You begin to rely on your own ability to execute, to endure, and to overcome. Motivation is fragile because it is influenced by external factors, but discipline is built from within. Each day you follow through, each task you complete despite resistance, strengthens your confidence, fortifies your resilience, and reinforces your identity as someone who does not quit. Discipline is the proof of character because it demonstrates that you are committed to your goals even when circumstances are not convenient, comfortable, or exciting. Discipline also protects you from the unpredictability of life. Life will test you with setbacks, challenges, and failures, and when motivation fails, discipline becomes your lifeline. The world does not reward feelings. It rewards action. Showing up, performing your duties, and maintaining high standards consistently produces results, whereas waiting to feel motivated only prolongs mediocrity. Discipline allows you to execute regardless of your emotional state. It is the ultimate equalizer because everyone has days of doubt, fatigue, or discouragement, but only those with discipline continue to push forward and produce tangible outcomes. It is not luck, inspiration, or occasional effort that creates lasting achievement. It is discipline applied consistently over time. Furthermore, discipline compounds like interest on a financial investment. Small, disciplined actions repeated daily create massive results over weeks, months, and years. It is the routine practice of discipline that builds momentum, shapes habits, and cultivates an identity aligned with excellence. Each disciplined action adds to your foundation, making it easier to perform the next action and harder to return to old, ineffective behaviors. Over time, discipline transforms average individuals into unstoppable forces because it is relentless, consistent, and immune to the volatility of feelings and circumstance. Motivation may spark the fire, but discipline is the furnace that keeps it burning. Discipline is also about sacrifice and delayed gratification. It requires the ability to say no to temporary pleasures and distractions in favor of long-term gains. It is the conscious decision to prioritize meaningful work over entertainment, effort over comfort, and progress over complacency. Every day presents choices, and discipline is the habit of consistently choosing the actions that align with your vision, even when they are difficult, inconvenient, or unpopular. This is why discipline is more powerful than motivation. It does not depend on how you feel. It depends on what you decide to do. Finally, embracing discipline transforms your life by creating predictability, stability, and control over your outcomes. It teaches you that greatness is not a matter of luck or emotional highs, but a product of repeated effort, structured routines, and unwavering commitment. Motivation may come and go, but discipline guarantees progress. It is the backbone of achievement, the engine that drives transformation, and the standard that separates those who succeed from those who only dream. Discipline ensures that even on your lowest days, your actions continue to build towards your highest potential. The fifth keynote, growth requires struggle, not shortcuts provided by others, is one of the most critical truths that separates those who achieve genuine success from those who remain stagnant or mediocre. Life does not reward comfort, convenience, or handouts. True growth is forged in the crucible of challenge, struggle, and relentless effort. It is in the moments when you are pushed beyond your limits, when circumstances feel unbearable, and when you are forced to confront your weaknesses that transformation occurs. Too often, people seek shortcuts, easy solutions, or guidance that allows them to avoid the hard work necessary for real progress. This desire for ease and avoidance of struggle creates a false sense of growth, a temporary illusion that does not build strength, resilience, or character. Genuine growth comes from struggle because struggle tests you, shapes you, and forces you to develop skills, mindset, and persistence that cannot be obtained any other way. Struggle is inherently uncomfortable, and that discomfort is precisely what makes it valuable. When you face obstacles, setbacks, and resistance, you are given the opportunity to examine your limits, challenge your assumptions, and strengthen your resolve. Every successful person has experienced struggle. There is no exception. Those who try to bypass it through shortcuts, whether through relying on others to carry them, taking easy routes, or avoiding responsibility, fail to develop the foundation necessary for lasting achievement. Struggle teaches lessons that cannot be learned in comfort, patience, perseverance, problem solving, adaptability, and self-reliance. It is through struggle that you discover what you are truly capable of and develop the internal strength that allows you to handle even greater challenges in the future. Shortcuts provided by others, while they may offer temporary convenience or success, do not cultivate independence or confidence. They often create dependency, complacency, and a false sense of accomplishment. When someone hands you a solution, you gain the answer, but not the understanding or the ability to apply it in the future. Growth requires engagement, effort, and ownership of the process. Every time you wrestle with a challenge on your own, every time you face resistance and refuse to quit, you are building the mental and emotional muscles that will carry you through life's trials. Struggle is the teacher, and effort is the tool that allows you to internalize the lessons it provides. Another aspect of struggle is that it separates the committed from the casual. Everyone wants results, but only those willing to endure difficulty, sacrifice comfort, and embrace challenges will attain them. Struggle acts as a filter, revealing who is truly serious about their goals and who is not. Those who avoid struggle are often those who quit when progress slows, when obstacles appear, or when life becomes inconvenient. Growth is not linear, and the path to success is filled with difficulty. Accepting struggle as a necessary part of growth allows you to see obstacles not as punishments, but as opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Struggle also builds resilience, the ability to withstand pressure, setbacks, and adversity without collapsing. Resilience cannot be taught in classrooms or given through shortcuts. It is earned through repeated experiences of struggle where you learn to get back up after failure, to adapt when circumstances change, and to persist when the outcome is uncertain. Each struggle you face strengthens your capacity to handle the next one. Life will always present challenges, and those who have learned to thrive through struggle will navigate those challenges successfully, while those who have sought shortcuts will crumble under pressure. Resilience is the ultimate product of struggle, and it is essential for long-term success. In addition, struggle cultivates self-reliance and personal responsibility. When you face difficulty without relying on others to solve your problems, you develop confidence in your abilities, trust in your judgment, and the understanding that you are capable of overcoming obstacles independently. This self-reliance is crucial for leadership, achievement, and personal fulfillment. Those who rely on shortcuts or constant external assistance often remain dependent on others, lacking the internal resources necessary to handle life's challenges. True growth requires that you take ownership of your struggles, confront them head on, and use them as opportunities to learn and improve. Struggle also forces creativity and problem solving. When you are confronted with challenges that cannot be bypassed, you are compelled to think critically, experiment, and innovate. These experiences develop your ability to navigate complexity, make strategic decisions, and adapt to change. The more you embrace struggle, the more resourceful and capable you become. Shortcuts may provide temporary relief, but they rarely teach you how to create solutions independently, leaving you vulnerable when unforeseen challenges arise. Growth, therefore, is not about avoiding struggle, but about using it as a catalyst for developing the skills, mindset, and wisdom necessary for long-term success. Finally, struggle builds character. It shapes you, our identity, values, and priorities. People are not defined by comfort or ease, but by how they respond to adversity. Each time you face struggle and choose to persist, you reinforce your commitment, courage, and integrity. Growth requires not just external achievement, but internal development. Struggle ensures that the progress you make is authentic, earned, and sustainable. Shortcuts may provide momentary victories, but they do not cultivate the inner strength and character required to maintain success and navigate life's inevitable challenges. In conclusion, growth cannot be outsourced, bought, or bypassed. It demands effort, perseverance, and struggle. Struggle is the arena where you are tested, shaped, and transformed. Those who embrace it gain resilience, self-reliance, problem-solving skills, and character, while those who avoid it remain trapped in comfort, dependence, and mediocrity. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. True growth requires that you engage fully with struggle, learn from it, and use it to build the foundation for lasting success. There are no shortcuts. The path to greatness is paved with effort, endurance, and the willingness to embrace struggle as the teacher that shapes your life. The sixth keynote, your mission matters more than being liked or needed, is one of the most critical understandings for anyone striving to achieve greatness, build influence, or create meaningful impact in their life. So often, people get distracted by the need for approval, the desire to be liked, and the pressure to please others. They measure success by how many people affirm them, how many nod in agreement, or how many depend on them for validation. This mindset keeps people small, trapped in mediocrity, and focused on the wrong metrics. Your mission is the purpose, the goal, the reason you were placed on the path, and it must take precedence over the fleeting approval of others. When you prioritize being liked or needed over fulfilling your mission, you dilute your efforts, compromise your principles, and settle for comfort instead of progress. Your mission is your North Star. It is the guiding principle that drives every action, decision, and sacrifice you make. When you understand that your mission matters more than approval, you begin to operate with clarity, focus, and unwavering determination. The world is full of distractions, opinions, and noise, and people will always have something to say about your choices, methods, and vision. If you allow the desire to be liked or needed to govern your decisions, you will constantly chase external validation instead of producing results that align with your higher purpose. The people who achieve the greatest things in life are those who place the mission above all else, who endure criticism, rejection, and misunderstanding because they know that the work they are doing matters far more than the temporary opinions of others. Being liked is a trap because it forces you to compromise your authenticity. To be liked by everyone, you must conform, soften your edges, and avoid confrontation. You may suppress your ideas, avoid taking necessary risks, or downplay your vision to ensure that others feel comfortable. But greatness does not come from comfort. It comes from courage, risk, and the willingness to challenge the status quo. If your priority is to be liked, you will avoid making bold moves, challenging outdated systems, or standing firm in your convictions. People who focus on being liked are often reactive, constantly adjusting to fit expectations instead of proactively shaping reality according to their mission. Similarly, being needed can also become a distraction from your true purpose. When others rely on you for support, guidance, or problem solving, it creates a sense of obligation that can consume your time, energy, and focus. While helping others is important, it must never come at the expense of your mission. People who are driven by the need to be needed often sacrifice their long-term vision for short-term approval or gratitude. They stay stuck in reactive cycles, putting out fires and solving everyone else's problems while neglecting their own growth and goals. Your mission requires that you set boundaries, say no when necessary, and protect your energy, even if it means disappointing others in the short term. Prioritizing your mission over approval or need also builds resilience. The path to achieving something meaningful is never smooth. You will face critics, doubters, and people who try to pull you off course. If your motivation is external, based on being liked or needed, you will crumble at the first sign of resistance. But if your motivation is rooted in your mission, you develop an inner fortitude that allows you to persevere despite obstacles, rejection, and criticism. Your mission becomes a source of strength, providing clarity and focus when everything else is chaotic. It allows you to withstand pressure and maintain momentum even when external support is lacking or when the world doubts your vision. Another key aspect is that focusing on your mission creates impact that transcends personal approval. When you prioritize results over relationships, when you put purpose above popularity, your work has the potential to influence more lives than any individual affirmation ever could. People may not understand your journey or support your choices, but the results of your mission will speak for themselves. The people who leave the deepest legacy are rarely those who sought to be liked. They are those who remain committed to their mission, regardless of public opinion. Fulfilling your mission also requires discipline and sacrifice. You may have to endure loneliness, criticism, or misunderstanding because your focus is not on pleasing others, but on delivering results. You will have to make hard choices, reject distractions, and consistently align your actions with your purpose. This requires maturity, vision, and the ability to see beyond the immediate gratification of approval. Those who understand this truth gain freedom, power, and clarity because they no longer allow the opinions of others to dictate their actions. In practice, prioritizing your mission means asking difficult questions regularly. Does this action move me closer to my goals? Am I compromising my vision for comfort or approval? Am I allocating my energy to things that matter most? It is a continual process of alignment, ensuring that every decision, every conversation, and every commitment serve the higher purpose of your mission. In conclusion, your mission matters more than being liked or needed. Approval is fleeting. Dependency is temporary. And people's opinions are ever changing. But your mission is permanent, defining your contribution, your legacy, and your purpose. To achieve greatness, you must place your mission above all else. You must be willing to endure criticism, sacrifice comfort, and ignore the fleeting approval of others in order to remain laser focused on what truly matters. When you operate from this mindset, you develop clarity, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. Your mission becomes the driving force that propels you forward, ensuring that your energy, time, and talent are used in the service of something far greater than fleeting popularity or temporary need. The seventh keynote, sometimes the most powerful help is stepping back, is a profound concept that challenges conventional thinking about support, assistance, and intervention. Most people believe that helping others means doing more, giving more, and staying involved as long as possible. They equate value with action, presence, and constant effort. However, true wisdom and support lies not in overextending, overcommitting, or rescuing others from their struggles, but in understanding that stepping back at the right time can be the most powerful and transformative act of help you can provide. This principle applies to leadership, mentorship, personal relationships, and even self-growth. Knowing when to step back is a skill that requires discernment, patience, and a deep understanding of human behavior, responsibility, and growth. When you constantly intervene, you may be preventing someone from experiencing the lessons they need to grow. Struggle is essential for development. Every person must face challenges, endure discomfort, and confront their limitations to develop resilience, character, and wisdom. By stepping in too often, you unintentionally rob them of these vital experiences. True help is not always immediate gratification or temporary relief. It is creating the conditions for lasting growth. Stepping back allows individuals to take ownership of their challenges, make decisions, and develop the problem-solving skills necessary for long-term success. It teaches them accountability, responsibility, and independence, all of which are far more valuable than short-term aid. Stepping back also preserves your own energy, focus, and purpose. Many people sacrifice their mission, goals, and mental clarity by constantly trying to rescue others who refuse to take responsibility for themselves. When you understand that sometimes the most powerful help is not intervening, you protect your time, your resources, and your mental focus. You realize that your energy is finite, and that investing it in situations where it will create true impact is more important than temporarily soothing discomfort elsewhere. This allows you to operate from a position of strength rather than depletion, ensuring that your efforts are sustainable and aligned with your priorities. Another critical aspect of this principle is that stepping back teaches others self-reliance. People often develop dependency because they have been accustomed to someone else solving their problems or alleviating their difficulties. Dependency weakens them, erodes their confidence, and fosters a lack of initiative. By stepping back, you force them to confront reality, take responsibility, and develop the skills and mindset necessary to succeed independently. This not only benefits them in the long run, but also creates relationships that are built on respect, competence, and shared accountability rather than dependence. Stepping back does not mean abandoning someone or refusing to support them altogether. It is a strategic decision rooted in wisdom, patience, and foresight. It involves observing, guiding subtly, and knowing when to allow the natural consequences of someone's choices to unfold. Often people only recognize their full potential or learn their most profound lessons when they face the consequences of their actions. Intervening prematurely can hinder this process and delay personal growth. True help comes with the understanding that struggle, challenge, and failure are not enemies. They are teachers. This principle is particularly relevant in leadership and mentorship. Leaders who intervene at every obstacle rob their teams of the opportunity to innovate, solve problems, and grow. Mentors who constantly provide solutions create dependence rather than empowerment. The most powerful leaders and mentors understand that stepping back at the right moment cultivates autonomy, accountability, and confidence in others. They recognize that guiding from a distance often produces better results than micromanaging or over-assisting, and that their ultimate goal is to develop individuals capable of operating independently and effectively. Stepping back also fosters respect and boundaries. When you recognize that your help has limits, you communicate to others that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. This encourages mutual respect and teaches others to appreciate and maximize the opportunities and guidance provided, rather than taking it for granted. By establishing boundaries and stepping back when appropriate, you empower both yourself and others to operate more intentionally, efficiently, and responsibly. Emotionally, stepping back requires restraint, discipline, and a shift in perspective. It challenges the desire to be needed, to be validated, and to feel indispensable. Many people struggle with the notion that stepping back could be perceived as indifference or abandonment. However, the true essence of this keynote lies in understanding that powerful support is not measured by constant presence or immediate intervention, but by the long-term growth, resilience, and independence that your actions or strategic non-actions foster. In practice, stepping back might look like allowing someone to face the consequences of a poor decision, letting them navigate a difficult project alone, or refraining from giving unsolicited advice. It involves trusting their capacity to learn, adapt, and overcome. It requires patience to allow the natural course of events to unfold while remaining observant, ready to provide guidance when truly necessary, but never enabling weakness or dependency. Ultimately, sometimes the most powerful help is stepping back, is about cultivating wisdom, discernment, and strategic action. It is about understanding that growth, strength, and resilience come from facing challenges head on, and that sometimes the best way to support someone is to create the conditions for them to develop these qualities themselves. It reinforces the importance of boundaries, self-preservation, and long-term impact over short-term gratification or emotional appeasement. Stepping back is an act of empowerment, respect, and profound understanding of human potential. If you've listened closely, you now understand something most people will never grasp. Your time, your energy, your focus, they are the most valuable assets you have, and they are not meant to be wasted on those unwilling to fight for themselves. Helping others is noble, but when you continually sacrifice your mission, your growth, and your power for someone who refuses to take responsibility, you are not helping them. You are holding them back, and you are holding yourself back. True strength, true impact, and true legacy are built on discernment, on knowing when to step in and when to step back, and on refusing to let others' weaknesses dictate the trajectory of your life. Every time you rescue someone who refuses to stand, you reinforce their dependency and dilute your own potential. You teach them to rely on you rather than themselves. And in the process, you lose the energy you could have invested in your own dreams, your own goals, your own elevation. Growth does not come from shortcuts, and success is never handed to those unwilling to fight for I. You have to understand that struggle is a requirement for development. And sometimes the most powerful act of help you can give someone is to step back, allow them to face the consequences, and let them build the strength they desperately need. Boundaries are not selfish. They are a declaration of your value. When you protect your time, your energy, and your focus, you are sending a clear message to the world. You will no longer sacrifice your purpose for the comfort of others. You will no longer let people drain your fire, your ambition, or your drive. You will no longer enable weakness. This is not cruelty. It is wisdom. It is understanding that the mission is bigger than any one person's demands, and your legacy is more important than someone else's temporary need for rescue. Your life is your responsibility, and the people who truly matter will respect that. They will rise to meet you, not demand that you lower your standards. They will take ownership of their lives, their actions, and their outcomes. And when you surround yourself with people who are willing to fight for themselves, who are willing to carry their own weight, your energy multiplies, your focus sharpens, and your impact becomes unstoppable. You create an environment of strength, growth, and purpose. And in that space, greatness is inevitable. So hear me clearly. Stop helping those who refuse to help themselves. Stop allowing others' laziness, dependency, or fear to dictate your pace, your goals, or your destiny. Step back. Protect your energy. Focus on your mission. Invest in yourself. Invest in those willing to rise, and watch how life rewards the disciplined, the focused, and the relentless. The world is not owed your energy. It is earned through your actions, your resilience, and your refusal to compromise your purpose for the convenience of others. This is your life, your mission, and your time. Protect it fiercely. Step back when necessary. Act with discernment, and understand that the most powerful help you can give sometimes comes not from doing more, but from doing less. Strategically, intentionally, and with unwavering purpose. Your energy is sacred. Your growth is non-negotiable. Your legacy depends on your ability to focus on what truly matters and to stop pouring into what will never return. Stand firm, stay disciplined, step back, and watch how everything falls into place for those willing to fight for themselves and for the future you are determined to build.